Yo guys, Mike for Sim Racing 604, and say hello to my Thrustmaster t818. This is the first direct drive system from Thrustmaster. They sent me this for review. This will not be that review. This will instead just be an initial impressions or first impressions video. And yeah, I will come out with the full review hopefully in the next week or so. So before I get into my impressions, just a bit of history about the 818. We first heard about this, I guess, what, spring of 2022? Anyway, a ways back, and initially we were just getting teasers, and everyone, including myself, was getting very, very frustrated with these sort of marketing tactics of Thrustmaster. We just wanted to see what the wheel was, and it was really annoying being told, you know, it's coming, and we would just see a lighted hexagon, and, you know, come on, Thrustmaster, show us something. And this went on, and then finally they did announce the T818, and Thrustmaster contacted me, and they said, we have 3 products we'd like you to take a look at. The first was the T128, which is their entry-level new $200 belt drive wheel and pedal set, which, by the way, fantastic. If you're looking for an entry-level wheel, go with that. And then the second was the TGT2, which admittedly I'm not really a fan of. I think it's just kind of seen its best days. And the technology it uses has been surpassed by things like this, the T818. And I was quite excited about the 818. But as much as anything, I just wanted to see it. And then finally, you know, it came to market and initial reviews were good. And then it's now available in North America, I believe, or at least taking pre-orders. I'll double check that. And yeah, I have my hands on my own. And you know what? I love it. I think Thrustmaster has done a fantastic job with this. So I went from, you know, being frustrated with the marketing to sort of excited to get my hands on it. And then I went through a period, by the way, where I thought, how am I ever going to review that 818? I almost hoped that Thrustmaster wouldn't contact me again so I didn't have to review it, because I didn't know where it would slot in. That's the thing, like, it's just so saturated right now in the sort of 8 to 12 Newton meter direct drive market in sim racing. We've got a lot of options on the market, and I just couldn't see where this one would sort of slot in. And I was afraid it was just going to sort of be average, and then it's like, well, who is this for? How do I make a review around this? And now I'm trying it, and I realize just how good this wheelbase really is. The force feedback is fantastic. It does have its shortcomings, and I'll get into those in the full review. But as far as initial impressions, as far as, you know, does this check the basic boxes? Yeah, more than. I mean, I'm using what I would consider a pretty cheap wheel. This is the one that comes with the TGT2, and yeah, even with a steering wheel that doesn't impress me much, you could still tell what this 818 is, you know, capable of. It feels phenomenal even with this wheel that I don't like very much. The force feedback is extremely crisp. The motor, it's rated at 10 Newton meters constant, which is a interesting thing. They're very adamant to use the word constant or sustained instead of just, you know, peak torque ratings. And so that's kind of what they've shaped their marketing around in terms of advertising the power of this. And it delivers. Boy, does it deliver. I would say it's similar in initial impressions to Logitech G Pro. The Logitech G Pro, I really, really love the force feedback of that wheel. That one comes in at 11 Newton meters. And, excuse me while I dispatch a Lambo here. And, yeah, that one right out of the box feels phenomenal. And I would say the 818 is as well. It's got kind of some goofy stuff with the software, which, again, I'll touch on in the review. But once you spend 2-3 minutes getting it configured in the software and kind of untap the potential of this, tap the potential, untap the potential, whatever the saying is, once you get configured with this, and I'm even using, for the most part, the recommended settings from Thrustmaster, and even just the basic do this settings from Thrustmaster feel really, really good. So yeah, just strong initial impressions here from the 818. I certainly wasn't rooting against it. I just thought, based on the marketing, based on, you know, the, I wouldn't say oversaturation, but the many options on the market right now, I thought, you know, there's no way this one's going to find a home, but very high quality, and maybe that's its edge. I don't know. But anyway, it's certainly not being left behind by the competition, which was my initial fear. You know, again, I try to shape my reviews around who would potentially be buying a given product. And for the Thrustmaster, I was just like, well, who is this for? Wouldn't this person who would buy the 818, wouldn't they just buy the G Pro? Or wouldn't they buy Fanatec? Or wouldn't they buy Moza and some Magic? There's so many. And then I got my hands on it, and thankfully it's very much competitive with those. And like all wheelbases rather, it has its strengths and it has its weaknesses. But overwhelmingly, what I'm noticing here is strengths. This thing just feels really, really nice. So I'm trying to get Thrustmaster to send me a better wheel so I can do the review. But we'll see if that pans out. Worst case, I'll do it with this TGT2 wheel, and it's very much functional. Yeah, the quick release system, it has this new quick release system that they were talking about, and I wasn't a fan of them even doing that. I mean, of course, why would they ever listen to me? But I just, for myself, I just wasn't a fan. I was just like, you know, Moza does quick releases exactly right, and they have since day one. You know, keep it simple, keep it mechanical, and put it on all your wheels and all your wheels and wheelbases. And Moza did it right, and they have since day one. Fanatec does it very wrong. Acetec has a new system, which I hear is cool, but I'm just like, why? Almost literally, why reinvent the wheel? And then Thrustmaster has done a similar thing. It's got a latch here. You flip that latch, you can just pull this right off. It actually works really well. It works better than I thought. I will maintain that I don't think necessarily that needs to exist. I would say that you know, you could have gone with a much simpler system, just with ball bearings and, you know, the usual, I can't remember what they call it, but the usual type of quick release. But they didn't. They went with something else. But the system as a whole works. The force feedback is incredibly detailed, and there doesn't seem to be much flex at all in that quick release, so that's great. And yeah, of course, what's going to pull you into this force feedback, what's going to pull you into this ecosystem, this direct drive system, is the promise of good force feedback, and it definitely delivers. So lots of detail in the curb there. The settings, the default settings are pretty high. They're pretty exaggerated curves right now, but I'm just trying to feel everything this T818 can throw at me. And so it's higher than I would normally run, but yeah, the detail is incredible. It's so fast. They talk in the marketing materials about, you know, having a lack of filters, and it's more of a direct feel from your direct drive, and you do feel it. Like I say, it's similar to the G Pro in that right out of the box it feels good. I would argue that something like a Moza product needs a bit of tweaking, even though my R21 is the best force feedback I own. The thing's absolutely incredible. I would say that out of the box, it's easier to get really good force feedback out of a G Pro or an 818. But generally, yeah, those are my thoughts. So as I said, I'm going to get into the full review at a later date. But for now, just wanted to try this out. And so far, so good. You can maybe see it. I don't know if it's being captured in the video or not, but the precision of this. Oh, by the way, if you happen to own an 818 and you're less than, and you probably just fired it up and you're less than impressed with the force feedback, I will give you one tip. In the software, go with performance mode. It's so much better. There's limited options in the software, but one you should definitely enable is the performance mode. It just feels so much better, so much more crisp, so much more detailed in that force feedback. Part of me wonders why they have other options at all. But performance mode working really well for me.
Subscribe to Sim Racing 604, my favorite YouTube channel.
And yeah, just extremely impressed with this 818. Great detail, great strength. Kind of slots into that, you know, sweet spot. I think we're finding that sort of 8 to 12 newton meters of torque is kind of where force feedback wheels might be. That's wrong. I was going to say where force feedback wheels might be at their best, but I would say it's the best sort of value. If you go much below 8 newton meters of torque, you start wanting for force feedback. You start saying, the detail isn't that great. And I'm thinking of, you know, belt and gear driven wheels. You go much above that, and the above 12 that is, and the price is typically a lot higher, more than many of us can afford. But yeah, 8 to 12, there's some great options, certainly sub $1,000. A lot of it's going to come down to the wheels you already own, or you know, how much you're able to spend on a wheel in addition to your wheelbase. But there's no real bad options. But this one at 650 US and I think 599 euro, you know, right in that sweet spot in terms of value, in terms of detail. So definitely a competitor. All right, I'll go one more lap here, then I will wrap up my first impressions video. But initial impressions, very, very strong. Well done to Thrustmaster. I would say the newest crop of Thrustmaster products is looking really good. There is a port on the back of this wheel. Thrustmaster has alluded to the fact that their next generation of wheels will use the port on the back, so I don't know if they're looking to have more screens built into their wheels, similar to what they've done with the SF1000, or what that port is specifically for, but I'm excited to see it because, as I say, I think they've done a really great job with their two most recent products, the T128 and now this T818. And I'm having such a terrible time driving this Lanzo V10 here at Mugello. Can't wait to stop. I'm kidding, of course. This is an amazing car track combination that I just sort of stumbled across. I didn't realize this would be anything. I just kind of took one of my usual test tracks and combined it with my usual test car. Oh, that was a horrible corner. And the result has been amazing. Tough job I have reviewing awesome products while playing video games. Actually, this isn't my job. This is my side hustle. Whoa, just about lost it there. Great force feedback detail, though, on the understeer through this long left-hander. Great curb detail. Good general sense of connectedness with the road. See ya, Porsche. And see you guys in the review. Thanks for watching.